Alright. Small group this evening as everybody is recovering from the holidays. Hope you all had a good time. Welcome to 2025. We will continue our journey tonight through this wonderful book. And we're on number 20, A Man of Great Strength. So I'll do what I usually do. I'll read the koan and I'll read it again and meander in my thinkings and my talking as I do so, and then we'll discuss it. A man of great strength, Mumonkan number 20. Master Shogun said, "Why is it that a man of great strength cannot lift his leg?" Again he said, "It is not with his tongue that he speaks." Muma's commentary. Of Shogun, it must be said that he emptied his intestines and turned his belly out. Yet no one understands it. Even though there is a man who immediately understands it, I will give him severe blows with my stick if he comes to me. Why? Ni. If you want to know pure gold, see it in the midst of fire. And then his poem, his capping poem. Lifting his leg, he kicks up the scented ocean. Lowering his head, he looks down on the four dhyana heavens. There's no place to put this gigantic body. You, please add another line. Oh my goodness, what to make of this one, eh? Very simple, very naked, but this is a tough one. This is a difficult one. It is difficult. So, Master Shogun was a near contemporary of the author of this book, Mumonkan. And this is unusual. It's not unusual, it's different than most of the ones you've seen, because most of them are in a dialogue. It's two people bumping up against each other. This is somebody presenting a talk. It's just some sentences from somebody presenting a talk. So it lands a little differently. And the tension, there's normally a tension that shows up in the conversation. There's a tension in here because it's obvious. The man of great strength cannot lift his leg. He speaks, but not with his tongue. So the answer, the truth, the experience is in that contradiction. It's embracing that contradiction and going beyond the contradiction. So the man of great strength is the awakened person. It's a man of great spiritual strength. But he cannot lift his leg. So that's something to do with function in the world, with ordinary life. Why is it that the man of great spiritual strength cannot lift his leg? It's the easiest thing in the world, right? And again, he said, it's not with his tongue that he speaks. So there's words, but they're not articulated with this tongue. So what this is asking, what this is inviting, actually, is for the person practicing with the koan to experience, let's do the speaking one first, to experience speaking without using their tongue. Now, if you practice this later, you can practice it quietly to yourself right now, but I think it's a pretty universal experience. If you land mindfulness right on your speaking, you'll realize you are not choosing the words that come out. There's something going on here, and you think you're speaking. But actually, what's going on, This is why that just happened twice and now 3 times. My sentence discontinued. And I don't recognize that discontinuity in my language. We think we're speaking in ways we really aren't. If you put written speech, if you put spoken language into a book, people don't read it. Because we don't speak the way we think we speak. So this is already happening. We're already on the edge of not really being there. So let's just keep going with this. There is no tongue. The tongue is a fabrication. The tongue is a story. The tongue is a thing we think there is. What we know is this sort of experiential realm with sense stimulus. And we build a story around that. And part of that story is language and a tongue. But in a relatively direct way, the tongue is impermanent. It's already, in 20 years, 50 years, we're dead. Tongue's decomposed. There's no tongue. The atoms that make up the tongue were different 2 years ago. It's constantly changing, so it's impermanent. And their experience of it changes as we change as well. But if you look at that at a deeper level, there really is no thing called a tongue. There is nothing we can hold on to that is a tongue. So it's inviting us to step into that experience, to step into realizing that when we think we're speaking, there is actually no body and they're doing no thing. To just step right into that and directly experience them. Similarly, the first line is inviting us to recognize, it's more simple in many ways because it's putting it right in front of you. The man of great strength is the awakened person. To recognize that we don't have a leg to lift. We are not doing anything. There's a wonderful little book that comes in, it's taken out of the middle of a very big book. It's called the Bhagavad Gita, comes out of the Mahabharata. And the Bhagavad Gita is a story about karma yoga. Karma yoga is engaging fully in the world. It's engaging fully in living life, engaging in actions, doing what has to be done, but relinquishing the fruit of those actions. It's a very profound message of just completely, of stepping back to be an observer of our life, to recognize our life as a whole string of phenomena strung together in this thing called time that we create. And to see it in terms of all of these phenomena and not get caught in the content. We think of this with our thoughts, thoughts arise, abide, and cease, and we start to see our thoughts as phenomena, not in terms of content. See the whole of life in that way. A whole bunch of thought moments that we just strung together. And they're thought moments as phenomena, not as content. It's amazing. But that's what we're being invited to step into with this. So the commentary. Of Shogun, it must be said that he emptied his intestines and turned his belly out. Just putting it right out there. Sounds pretty gross, but it's this movement's way of saying, wow, you've really You laid it all out there. It's just the naked truth. Very brave, very direct. Yet no one understands it. Number one, because we're all scratching our heads. But number two, the man of great strength doesn't understand it either. Because there is no man of great strength, and the man of great strength knows there's no man of great strength to understand it. And then there's some lines that show up again and again in these commentaries, and this one's out of the Blue Cliff Record. It's, I'll allow that the old barbarian knows, but not that he understands. The old barbarian in that context is Bodhidharma, who came from India, brought to what became Chan, to China. I'll allow that he knows, but not that he understands. Sounds rather pedantic and a play on semantics, but what it's pointing at is there is a way, what was it, Steinbeck called it grokking. The grok is this deep intuitive understanding that isn't intellectual at all. It's just this deep intuitive knowing. The knowing that when I throw a ball at somebody, they just catch it. There's no thinking there. The same knowing that when two samurai swordsmen engage in combat, the one who thinks is dead. There isn't time for thought in it. There's just time for absolutely intuitive engagement in action. Yet no one understands it. Even though there is a man who immediately does understand it, so that contradicts, but I think it's just, even if there was a man who does immediately understand it, I will give him severe blows with my stick if he comes to me. Why? If you want to know pure gold, see it in the midst of fire. That's the samurai. If you want to see the truth, you've just got to see it right in the middle. Don't stop. If you step back to look, just a hair's breadth opens up the gap between heaven and earth. Just that one moment of pause and it's all gone. It's direct, intuitive, moment by moment, non-stop flow. So the poem, lifting up his leg, he kicks the scented ocean, lowering his head, he looks down on the 40 heavens. So the worldview at this time was Mount Sumeru in the middle, surrounded by an ocean to the north, an ocean to the south, all the continents, right? And they're surrounded by these four oceans. And there's the heavenly abodes above us, and the 40 heavens are the heavenly abodes. So lifting his leg, which of course he can't do, he kicks up the scented ocean, which is, it's the whole of the earth. Looking down, lowering his head, he looks down on these heavens that are way up there from us. There's no place to put this gigantic body. So we can imagine this as a physical body. I think it's easier and probably more useful to not think of it as a physical body. It's a body of just pure being, which is what we're being invited to experience, right? It's like there is no self. There's just the world, the universe, the cosmos. There's no place to put this body. It's just beyond logic. Logic doesn't apply. This is a way of experiencing. Experiencing is the wrong word. Being is the wrong word. It is what in the Dharma Sutra is the mind that does not dwell. In the Pali Canon, it's consciousness without surface. It's enlightened awareness. In the Tibetan Buddhism, it's the bright dark. It's just simply enlightened awareness. There's no place to put it. It just is. outside space and time. Space and time are potentials within it, the same potential as the objects and the events that populate space and time. They're all co-arise. You, let me use looking at you, please add another line. So that's the most direct comment I've come across in any of these koans, which is saying, this is your truth. This isn't intellectual. This isn't the shogun telling you. It isn't Mumon's commentary helping you. It isn't Shibayama's commentary on a commentary helping you. It isn't Gareth talking and talking that's helping you. You. It's your realization, it's your truth. So in one sense, if you're to solve the koan, you present an answer. It's got to be your answer. It's got to be from direct experience. But it's not about presenting the answer. It's about waking up. It's about freedom. It's about the end of suffering. It's about waking up to your original, your true nature, your original face. You do that. Add your own line to this. That makes this yours. Okay. Oops.